everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Kate, our special Thanksgiving edition. And I am thrilled tonight to have my favorite guest of all time, my beloved sister, Quinn Atherton. Say hi to everyone, Quinn.
Hi. Hi. I bet you said that to all your guests, but I'll take it.
Well, I do, but I really mean this time.
Oh.
I love all the guests, and this is a special occasion because we are together and we're best friends as well as sisters, and we're talking about our very favorite topic in the entire world, which is
Pie.
pie. And you can't see it in this shot, but maybe Justin will get a photo of it later. There's a sign over Quinn's stove higher up on the ceiling, and it says, "Make pie, not war."
I'm going to show you.
Oh,
Make
good.
pie.
Make pie. We've got the make pie part, but it also says
pie,
not war. There we go.
Yeah,
And I think those are words to live by, don't you? So tonight we're going to be making different pies. It's actually daytime. It's actually Monday, but we're doing this now so that it'll be ready for broadcast on Wednesday night. And the reason we're talking about pie is because I believe that my sister, no pressure here, Quinn, is one of the best pie bakers in the world. But we love pie because we come from Kentucky, which is, I would say, the pie capital of the world. Wouldn't you?
Absolutely, the pie of the world. And year after year when we go back to Kentucky and we eat every pie in the state, and then we can leave saying, yeah, it's still the best pies in the world.
Yeah, that's right. It's just, we practically stop for pie before we do anything else when we land in Lexington. So in fact, the pie that we're going to be talking about right now is a Kentucky classic. And what do you want to do? Do you want to start making the pie and tell the story of the pie as we go? Or do you want to do an introduction about pecan pie?
Gosh, well, I'll just say a few things. Like, this is the recipe. I don't know if you can get a shot of this. This is the recipe we're working on.
It's been around.
Look at the back. Good thing I have it memorized because I don't even know what the back is anymore. But
it's disintegrating.
We got this recipe at our dad's funeral. It was such a sad time, but our dad, who loved pie a lot, would appreciate that this pie beneath Crust brought to the lake. And it just, we were there in that church basement and we had this pie and it was just amazing. So she wrote this down for me. And
got us through the day.
Forever.
Yeah, that's right. I said it got us through the day, didn't it?
It sure did. So we're going to share she really does a couple of secrets that have made it just better than any pecan pie I've ever had. So we just keep making it.
A few things. Yep, and this is the pecan pie that we made for the St. James men's group not too long ago.
Oh, yay. And I actually made it this last year for the Tulare County Fair and won Best in Show.
Yay!
And I did that because our grandma 70 years ago won with her pies at the county fair. So in homage to her, we did that.
It's a wonderful homage and not a surprise at all that you won.
Thank you. So what I think we should do is just start with the innards of the pie. I like to get the innards made and set aside that way. And actually, I can make them a couple of days in advance, get them in the refrigerator. So when you're ready to bake off a pie, you're not scurrying around trying to do everything at the last minute. So I'm going to get my mixer out here. And the way what the recipe says, which is so easy, is just dump all the ingredients into here. So there's really no order that we do anything. It's a cup of brown sugar. They always say firmly packed.
These are the pecan pie innards. You mean the pecan part, right?
Yeah, just the part that's going to go inside. I mean, we can make the crust ahead of time too, and I do that as well. But I like to have the inside of the pie. And this one I can do maybe triple it and try to separate it. But the phone rings or the FedEx guy comes.
Forget. Did I put in butter or didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dangerous thing. So it's a cup of brown sugar. It is I was going to use my teeth to open that. That's not. Hold on, don't edit this out. Sorry.
You think Ina Garten does that? I don't know.
Okay, so I do just a half a cup of Karo syrup. And a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm saving the secret ingredient for the end. And there's
the
3 eggs.
Secret ingredients, yeah.
I have 3 eggs. Oh, here they are. 3 eggs. I tried to do this like a cooking show and put things in little containers.
I love it when they do that. It always looks so
I know, it's so satisfying.
Beautiful.
Well, my
and
hat's off to
satisfying.
those people.
Yeah, they have staffs that do that, I think.
Oh, do they? Staff
Sure.
actually use their teeth and open the bottles for them?
Yeah, they all have broken teeth on the staff, I'm sure.
Okay, here is the secret ingredient. That
Yay!
It is, let me show you on this camera cam here. So it is a tablespoon of real maple syrup, not log cabin.
Fake. Not
real maple syrup. So a generous tablespoon of real maple syrup. That's the key. So now the secret's out. Everybody can do it.
Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world.
It really does. There's just something about it that just brings all those flavors together. So we've got eggs, brown sugar, Karo syrup, maple syrup. Oh, and a quarter cup of butter. So hold on.
Melted butter, right?
Butter.
Okay. Meanwhile, I'm just making a pie. I'm just making a pie crust to be ready for the next phase. But we'll talk about pie crust in a little while.
So we melt a half a stick of butter.
How do people make pies without microwave to melt the butter? Right?
What?
I said, how did people cook without microwaves to melt the butter?
Oh my gosh, that's a terrible.
Or to soften the butter. Do you believe in softening the butter in the microwave, or are you a purist?
I don't know who has time to soften butter.
Right.
But back then they were churning the butter, I guess.
Yeah, right. It was softening. It was no problem. It was churning it that was all the work.
And you know what?
Okay.
This is slightly off topic, but I feel like you should always be comfortable when you're baking because it is just so much fun. So I always wear Uggs when I'm cooking in the kitchen. Nobody can see. You know what? Life is way too short to wear uncomfortable shoes.
Do they have all sorts of pie stains on them?
Actually, they do. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But it looks. But you look very professional from the waist up.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I just ruined the illusion. So anyway, we just beat that stuff up. And this is my quick tip about the pecans. It's 1.25 cups of pecans. So I don't have time to chop anything.
So I know what you're gonna do. You're just gonna.
This is one of my little hacks about pecans. Just getting out a cutting board and chopping is just something that takes a lot of time. So I stick them in a bag. I somehow inherited this mallet somewhere along the way in the world.
That's an impressive looking mallet.
Yeah. So
are you crushing all of them, or are you leaving any of them whole?
And that's why I like this, because it's random, and then that way some of them are whole, some of them are ground. Because that's sort of the fun of pecan pie. If they're all the exact same size, it's not good.
That's
so anyway, that's all we do to get the insert ready. And that way you can put those in the refrigerator and keep them for a couple of days or a week. That way when you're ready to go, if you've got a pie crust, you just pull them out. I give them a good mix up and they're ready to go.
Amazing. Okay, so now the innards are done, right?
Now the innards are done. I'm just going to leave them in the mixer until we're ready to put them in a pie. So now let's make a pie crust.
All right, now it's time to make a pie crust. Now I know that there's a lot of debate out there in the world about what goes into pie crust. Some people are all butter crust people. Some people are all Crisco people. There's in my old church in Massachusetts, the older ladies, the originals, right? They believed in lard, only lard, and which I don't even know you could buy lard anymore, but you can apparently. So anyway, tell us. You can't, yeah. And so what's the secret?
And we've done our research over the years. I've done
by eating 5 million pies, right?
And the amount of raw dough that I eat, I can say I'm qualified to speak out on this. And this I've come up with once they invented butter flavored Crisco, I feel like it changed the world. So
right.
I keep those, and those sticks. Thank goodness
Yes.
you're not having to scoop out Crisco anymore. So my cut crust is an easy combination of 1 stick of butter flavored Crisco and 1 stick of salted butter. I feel like, what's the idea of taking salt out of butter? Keep the salt in it. Salted
Wait,
butter.
I don't think it doesn't come with salt. Some people would say, why put it in? But no.
Well, then you should always add it. Salted
all right,
butter,
but you salted butter and all right. So do you happen to have a stick of that butter flavored?
The what?
Do you have a stick of that butter flavored Crisco just to show?
And I keep it in the refrigerator, so it's extra cold.
That's key information too, isn't it?
Absolutely. Everything has to be cold when you're making a pie.
Yeah. She has one of those pantries where everything's very organized. I'm jealous.
Until I can't find some. Oh, here it is. So this is what it looks like when you get it on the store shelf. Butter flavored Crisco. And but what I do is I get it ready to go. So I've got my stick of that and my stick of butter cold right out of the refrigerator. I even wait until literally the second I'm ready to put it in. Meanwhile, I have a thing of ice water ready to go. So this ice water has been sitting here. It's very cold. And that also is
so you can just fill up a big bowl with ice water, right? And then dip in with the measuring cup the exact amount you need.
Yes, I take a half a cup. So I just have that ready to go.
Great.
All right. Now, this recipe starts with 3 cups of flour.
Yeah.
You can see I have flour in the industrial size. But this is important because it's important, people talk about should you pack your flour, how you should get it, but this is what I do. I scoop it out, I take a butter knife, and I just shave off the top. 1. Shave.
So you don't sift it?
You know what? I don't think anyone has time for that.
No,
and this is regular all-purpose flour, so I know there are other kinds, but this is all I've ever used. So 3 cups of flour, and then I always keep a little extra because we're going to need some for when we flute the crust.
Right.
Okay, so we've got 3 cups of flour, and then it's 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of sugar. And what?
And 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
Gosh, you're so good. Now, like on a real cooking show. And this is my other trick that I love. This is pretty much my favorite tool in the kitchen.
Yes, just
teeny weeny. I'm going to show you on this one. This teeny weeny little whisk. And you could have like 10 pounds of flour, and this little whisk stirs it up perfectly. So I always keep it handy.
Right. Beautiful.
So that's ready. Now I just dump in the Crisco. Dump in the butter. And I know this is where you and I do things a little differently.
Don't say what I do. Don't tell anyone what I do.
Oh, okay. This is where you and I do things the same, so I'll do it like we do it.
Okay, how do we do this?
With a pastry blender. That's what we do. Some people use 2 knives and like chop at it like this. And
some people use a food processor, right?
Some people use their fingers, but there's all different methods.
But some people use a food processor, right?
In my world, they don't. I just use this pastry blender, and I like it because I'm constantly, there's a moment when it's ready, and then after that moment, you've done too much. So I don't want to turn on the processor and maybe miss that moment. So I just work it, get around, and I just sort of spin my bowl.
Till it looks like cornmeal, right? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, They say, well, actually, I don't go to cornmeal. I go to pea-sized chunks.
Pea-sized
chunks.
Okay.
If I get to cornmeal,
it's going to cornmeal, that might not be good, right?
It's going to be mealy.
Yeah.
We don't want
I hear you.
Mealy. So, and this recipe is going to make us a top and a bottom, or like we're making pecan pies that are just a bottom. So this would be enough to make 2 pecan pies, or if you're making like a blueberry pie or something like that, or
two pumpkin pies, or 2 pumpkin pies, which is what I'm going to do.
I'm so excited. I'm going to make a pumpkin pie today. I'm going to make a blueberry pie, a peanut butter pie, and a couple more pecans.
Whoa. That's amazing. That is amazing. At least that's the
plan.
And don't forget the best part of all, with the leftover dough.
Oh my gosh. Tell them what we do with the leftover dough, Katie.
All right. So what was that thing that our grandmother used to say to us? Oh,
she'd say, dough dabs make fat lads.
That's right. So sorry for the dog barking. So the leftover dough.
I'm just putting in a half a cup of ice water right now.
Okay. And you do the rolling out, by the way, right on your granite countertop, right?
No, I do not. I use parchment paper.
Parchment, I'm using wax paper right now. I have wax paper right now, but I should have gotten out parchment paper.
No, you can use
some people do,
but
how do you get it out again? That's the question I want to know.
Oh, and this is another trend that's coming up. I inherited this from
when am I going to get one of those? I need to get one of those.
You know what? We need to find one. I inherited it from a baker in Washington, D.C. that was closing his bakery in '87. And this thing is amazing. So we'll use this a little later. But if you ever see one of these at a yard sale or something, grab it.
I know. Grab it from me. Grab it from me. I need it. I don't think I need a baby whisk as much as I need that slidey thing, whatever it's called.
Yeah, you really need that slidey thing.
They must have them in the Williams-Sonoma catalog somewhere. You would like to think.
So this is what we have. Can you see there? Yeah. So now I used a spoon to sort of stir it around, but now I'm going to use a little bit of flour on my hand. I'm going to put a little bit of flour on here. And now I'm going to just try to take half of this and make it into a ball. So you want to try to treat it like a baby bird. I told some lady that one time. She said she didn't like birds, so that didn't help. But
so let me ask you this: as you're touching it, is it sticky at all, or just crumbly?
You know what? It's more crumbly than you want it. I mean, the more crumbly it is, really, the flakier the pie is going to be. So it'd be nice if it were stickier, because then it would be easier to work with. But I just know that if I can somehow manage to get it into a ball, that it's going to be better. So even
if it just barely stays together.
Yeah. So I took half of it, and I'm just getting it out here, kind of in a round shape. I'm going to take a little bit of flour on top.
Look, ta-da!
Katie, look at you.
It's not as fancy, but it'll get her done.
It's perfect. Okay. So
all right.
The dough that we were working on has made it's 2 balls. One here. I usually get this one and quickly get it into the refrigerator.
Yeah.
But then
I'm gonna put one I just made in the freezer, actually.
Okay. And now I'm gonna say a quick thing about rolling pins.
Yes.
This is my favorite rolling pin. I don't know if you can see back here. I have an enviable collection of rolling pins.
Yes, I love it.
I love them. I can't help myself. But the only one that I really like to use is this just plain old wooden one that doesn't even have the spinning things. So
it doesn't even spin. Mine is almost the same, but it spins.
Yeah. So whatever one you like is the one you like. And this one's just the one.
I know. It's true. So you're about to roll it out. All right. Any rolling out? Here's a question about rolling out. Yeah. How do you keep the sort of buttery bits from sticking to the rolling pin and then picking up dough instead of it rolling nicely?
Well, I always keep this little thing of flour right here next to me, So I'm constantly working a little bit onto the rolling pin. I mean, obviously, the more flour you add in, the potentially tougher your crust can be. I spin my parchment sometimes, and I'm always working from the inside out if possible.
Yeah, from the inside out.
You don't want to roll all the way across if you can help it, because it's just wasted effort. So you're just trying to. I really made it tough. I didn't add much water at all, so this one is a little hard to deal with. That's okay.
It'll be flakier though, right?
Surgery. What?
It'll be flakier, right?
Oh, it'll be so delicious. And there's always a lot of surgery that I do when pieces fall off. And actually, the award-winning pie at Tulare, when I won that Tulare County Pie Contest, a chunk of the crust fell off right when it came out of the oven, like literally a 2-inch.
Oh no! What did you do?
So I took another piece of dough. It came off while I put it in the oven. So I took another piece of dough. I fashioned it into a shape, and I baked it. And when it came out, I just stuck it on. And once the pie cooled, it stuck in place.
Oh my gosh, that must have been a scary moment. Scary moment.
Yeah. Okay, so.
So you're not using this guy for the sprinkling of flour on in the rolling out process?
You know what's so sad? I don't even have one of those anymore.
You know what's annoying about these? You can't wash them.
I know. Somewhere along the way, mine disappeared. I just worked it out of a job.
Look at the way that you roll out. Very, very good. All right, so now how do you? Oh, you're getting out that tool again.
I know. Now you're so jealous. I'm gonna find you one of these.
I know, and somebody needs to tell us what it's called. That will speed up the search process, because all we know is it's that long thing.
The real bakers out there are like screaming at him.
These morons! Don't they know it's a blah blah blah?
I don't know. So if it's gotten too stuck to the parchment or the capper, if you're being
look at that. That's, I would say, if we can find out the name of that thing, everyone should go out and buy one.
Yeah.
Or stay in and buy one, I should say.
Because if we didn't have this thing, I feel so stupid. Yeah. Maybe we can edit back in later once we figure out what's called.
Oh, and we can authoritatively say you'll be sure to want to pick up one of these.
Yeah, we'll drop the name several times.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm so darn opinionated, but I know
you are opinionated.
Sorry. So many people make 9-inch pie crusts. Who are people? I'm an 8. I'm 8.5. I don't know. This recipe does not make 9s. It barely makes 2 8s. So
wait. I need you to say that all over again, because you were cutting out, and that was too important to miss. All right,
okay, I'll slow down.
I'm understanding you to say that you don't like 9-inch pie crust. This is a 9-inch pie crust. What's wrong with 9 inches?
Are you sure?
No.
I know you believe it to be a 9-inch.
Okay. All right. Fine. All right. Fine.
All I'm saying is that I feel like larger size of pie crust of pie pans are hard to. They just don't work proportionally for me. So I look for the smaller size, which is 8 or 8.5. This is an 8.5.
And you like
that way. This recipe.
Disposable ones, so you can give them away, right?
Exactly. And when you tell people, oh, I need that dish back, always work it back to you, and I feel so bad. And they rarely make the glass ones in this nice small size. They make them in these giant deep dish things, which just throws it all off for me. So,
got it.
There you go. I take this. At this point, I just drop it down, and I use this device.
That thing.
Lame. And I just sort of cut around the edges, just so that once I get it, because once you get it turned over, you kind of have to work fast. I'm going to save these pieces, because if I need to do surgery, this is what I'm going to need.
Right. And I wonder if doing surgery is just a natural part of the pie baking process. Wouldn't you say?
I
How often
And
is it that a little tiny bit doesn't fall off in some way?
I just eat the raw dough if I don't need it, but sometimes I eat it anyway. Okay, so now I've got this ready to go. I use 2 pieces of parchment just because I'm going to have stuff going on the second piece and not right on the counter if I can help it.
Wow, amazing. I never thought of that. That's amazing.
Double parchment.
Double parchment. That's a new one for me. Oh, look at that. Can you tip that up to the camera a little bit?
Yeah.
Look at that. Thing of beauty.
You have to work a little bit fast because we're just, once it's hitting the air, it starts to dry and it becomes harder to work with. So
too crumbly.
Pardon?
Too crumbly.
Yeah, and that just makes it hard. So right now I'm just folding the edges over roughly.
I'm seeing that before you fold, they go almost down to the counter. They're that big, right?
Yeah, actually that's a good measurement. It goes all the way down to about the counter.
Like a little blanket all the way down to the counter. And so that's why your pies have a characteristically very high crust, which is so much fun to eat.
Oh, I think I've done too. I've rolled out some of the little scraps. So that, if we need to do some surgery, I've got something ready to go. Like
I thought you were, and then there's the whole, wait, you don't put cutout designs on pecan pies, or do you?
No, I do. I just don't have any today, but yeah, that's really fun if you have an extra crust, or even you can use a cheater Pillsbury crust for those. I've got all kinds of little.
Oh, that's interesting. A cheater Pillsbury crust for the cutouts. That's a great idea.
Just in a pinch. But I have all these cute little fall cookie cutters, and fall leaves that are so cute.
So cute.
And again, I can bake those. Oh, just had a dog come through.
Yeah. Hi.
Hold on, I'm going to give the dog a treat real quick.
Okay. And meanwhile, I'm going to show you that what I did with some of my extra dough is I rolled it up with cinnamon and sugar, and I'm just making little cinnamon rolls for a snack because they get finished before the pie does.
And do you use regular sugar or brown sugar or both?
I just used regular sugar, and it was pretty darn good. But brown sugar sounds good too.
I use both. Sometimes one or the other or both, and then cinnamon, and then sometimes if I have extra pecans, I'll throw them in there too.
Oh wow! Then it's almost like arugula, not arugula, but not arugula, but arugula.
I put my glasses on for this part because it's serious business.
This is some serious work here.
Can you see the edge of pie?
You can maybe slide it toward the camera just about 4 inches. Okay, now we can see what your fingers are doing. Yep.
Okay. So everybody flutes a pie differently. Some people use a fork and just crush it.
No, I don't like that. I like the wavy edges.
Me too. So I just work it. I don't know if you can see. I just make a little tent with one finger and then push it down. It's important to try to anchor to the side to the pie pan as much as possible because a lot of people will have that problem where they start to bake it and the whole thing just sort of rolls into the pan. So
it does, yes. So you're getting it a little purchase on the edge there, huh?
Yeah, try to get like a tactile point if I can.
That's good.
I don't know if you can see.
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
So, and even right now, I just found a spot. It just is not thick enough for me. So I just put that right in there.
A little minor surgery happening.
I think we can say this.
So we were talking earlier about how whenever we visit our home of Lexington, Kentucky, we stop for pie first. And anybody who knows Lexington, Kentucky knows that one of the best places to get pie is this restaurant chain actually called Ramsey's. And they have a menu, but then they also have a whole pie menu. I wish we could bring it up on the screen right now. Maybe we can edit it in later, but it's got every kind of pie, like chess pie, which is I think that's a Kentucky specialty. It's like pecan pie without the pecans. It's also called shoe fly pie. Yeah, you know that. Shoe fly pie. And all kinds of pecan pie. Sometimes they put bourbon in it in pecan pie. I don't like that, but sometimes they put chocolate in it. I don't like that either. I love, my favorite is butterscotch pie.
Yum.
But
one thing that
one thing our grandma did, and I didn't like this, was her pies like butterscotch and lemon and all of that. She'd make this meringue on top.
What's wrong with the meringue?
I don't like meringue. It's weird.
You're gonna have some comments about that.
Uh-oh.
You're
the chat's gonna blow up.
Your congregation with that one.
No, I mean, I don't like it on a pie, because a pie is, talk about being a purist. A pie is a thing of beauty in and of itself. It doesn't need a foamy meringue on top, in my opinion.
Okay.
All right. I see we
touched
could agree to disagree. You don't make meringue for your pies. What are you talking about?
No, I just feel like I'm standing up for meringues in general. I'm just defending meringues.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny that you would choose to defend something that you don't even like or eat or ever make. That's a classic sister style disagreement.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no need for that. Okay,
no.
So I would say we have.
Look at that! It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
There were lots of little pieces that I just popped on there.
Mm-hmm.
And as you well know, the next best thing, the next step is to stick this in the freezer. And you can stick this in the freezer for a month and it's going to be just fine. So,
and it's a great thing to have in the freezer and to just whip out, and then you can have dessert ready in an hour and
anything.
And question, if you've got it in the freezer and if it's frozen, and let's say you run in the house and you want to quickly make a pecan pie, do you have to defrost it before you bake it?
You do not. No.
Oh,
you just
that's good to know.
You want it in frozen is better, because the way the butter doesn't have a chance to melt and make everything droop. You want the butter to melt from the frozen state and make little caverns, which is what makes it flaky. So straight, so that's perfect. And really, some people, I guess, would bake them ahead of time. I don't. Like if I wanted to make a pie like a cold pie that has an already baked crust, I still freeze them unbaked and then just pull them out when you need them.
All right. So this brings us to the all important topic of how to bake a pie crust, or pre-bake or blind bake, or whatever you want to call it. And I learned a very sad lesson the hard way this week.
Yes, you did. Tell us about that. I did.
All right. Well, I Googled, because I don't usually blind bake. And then all of a sudden I was reading these recipes.
Blind bake sounds like you're...
Like it's hard enough with your eyes open. Why did you try to do it blind, right?
Yeah.
No, but I was reading about, pie weights, put in a piece of parchment and then put in pie weights or rice and pre-bake for this amount of time. So I did, and my crust was inedibly hard. What did I learn, Quinn?
What did you learn? This is important.
I learned you always have to make a little crust protector. They make them out of silicone, right? Or
they do look like this. I bought one. I thought I just need to buy one of these, because how silly that I'm reinventing the wheel. But this does not do.
You mean by making them with foil every time? You've got those too.
And I'm gonna show you, because this is so important. So I always make it in 2 parts, because that way you can sneak this one around behind the pie and here, and as you're working in the oven, not trying to go up and out like that. You can just pull them apart and work them around.
Right.
So I'm just going to show you real fast.
Okay. Oh, good. Foil. So we don't have to buy a silicone one. Fold it in half.
I don't feel like the silicone covers enough, and the silicone's sitting on the pie. It's weighing down. I feel so passionate about this. Let me take a breath. Okay.
This is an emotional subject.
It really is. You really touched a nerve. The silicone is sitting on the pie, on the very delicate raw pie crust, and pushing it down. We don't want that. So we're making like a puffy tent. So can you see here what I'm doing with it?
Yeah, you fold it in half, a nice long piece. So
I've just folded in half, and then I just work like this.
I'm not sure what you're doing. What are you doing?
I'm just making little folds.
Oh, you're just doing little
like
folds.
That.
Okay.
And then I just go like this.
Kind of like origami, but with foil.
All right. See? That's what I know. So, and I reuse these. I'll reuse them
time and again. Time and again.
Yeah.
And you use them time and again. Yeah.
Yeah, until I set something heavy on them and smush them and can't bring them back to life, and then I make more. But
all right.
Yeah. So that's what we do. So what else do we need to say about this?
The question of so how do you weigh it down so the base doesn't puff up when you're pre-baking it?
Oh, well, a pecan pie we don't pre-bake, so that's easy. We just
you don't pre-bake it at all?
Oh. Heck no. With a pecan pie, we just take this out of the freezer, pour the gunk in the middle, and stick it in the oven. But I put these on the moment I get it in the oven. I get them on like that. And then
they stay the whole time?
The whole time. They never come off.
Wow.
I know. Right, this is big news.
I feel like of all the breakthroughs today, that might be the most important one. Especially though, because of the kind of edges that you have, you know, they're so beautiful. You want to protect their size.
I mean, I don't know how you can get the inside of a pie cooked enough without browning the edges. I just don't think it is possible. So,
and I've noticed that's something that happens a lot with store-bought pie crusts. They always seem like their edges are very quick to burn.
I know, and that's just not for me. I like mine to just be turning golden brown.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm going to do like pretend like we're on a cooking show, because I'm going to put it in the oven, and then I've secretly already cooked one, and I'm going to like pretend like we're just pulling it out. So
good.
Is this the one we just made? Yeah. So I'm going to stick this one in the freezer real quick and get one out of the freezer that's ready to go.
Wait, do you wrap them in something or just set them in the freezer like that?
I do wrap it first because the wrapping is going to in some way weigh something down. So I just stick them right in there. This one in about 2 hours ago. But if I'm going to leave them in there overnight or anything, once they've hardened up like this, now I can wrap it in. I usually wrap it in saran wrap.
Yeah.
Because it's so bendable, and that way I can stack them there too.
Oh, wow. Another smart idea, because they take up a bit of space, don't they?
Yeah. So once they're hard like this, then you can wrap them in saran wrap, and then you can just make another one. Keep stacking.
All right. All right. So we're going to put the gunk in. All right. Now you're going to put the gunk in.
Put the gunk in.
Do you have to use a mixer to stir all that gunk up?
Not at all. Pecan pie is one of those. It's so easy and forgiving. You do not need a mixer at all. It's just, I've got it always on the counter. So.
Mm-hmm. Everybody, by the way, if I haven't mentioned to you before, Quinn lives about 3 hours from here in Springville, California, in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Any forest fires right now, or is things quiet now?
I think the fires are out. Our claim to fame is we don't even have a stoplight. Not even a stoplight in our whole town.
But they have a rodeo, a wonderful rodeo.
We have a really good rodeo and an apple festival. Mm-hmm. So what more do we need?
And in Quinn's backyard, there's a little farm and a horse and 2 horses. 1 horse,
2 horses.
2 horses.
Dogs and cats. I'm going to stick this one in the oven.
All right.
I don't know if the oven.
And then, what do you cook it at, by the way?
350. There's no change of temperature in this one. It's just 350. I put it in for 50 minutes. 350 for 50 minutes. It's really going to be more like 55 to 60. And you're just waiting for that moment when it puffs. It will happen about 55 minutes in.
The pecan part puffs.
The pecan part starts to puff a little. If you need to, as you're baking, you can just move these out if you feel like the middle really wants to get cooked a little bit more. But the last few, I've not moved them at all. But you can tell. Okay. I open the door and I pull the tray a little bit. If the innards are still sort of jiggling. Mm-hmm. So the minute they're just almost not jiggling, and you'll see it'll just start to puff up. And that's at about minute 55. Then
do you cook them? Is it the center rack with or without a cookie sheet under?
There's a cookie sheet in there now, but only because I left it in there. I don't I don't use a cookie sheet. I just put it on the center rack, and I never try to cook two at once. I just don't feel like I can get the timing right.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm putting on the little protector things.
Okay.
Okay, so like in a cooking show.
All right, here's the moment.
55 minutes has gone by.
Yay! Time-lapse photography. Oh my gosh. There's the Tulare County Pie Award winner. I wish I were there to take a big piece of it right now.
Isn't that cool? Because there's no burned dark part.
I know.
Pecan pies are so great because they can sit out on the counter. They can go in the refrigerator. They're just I feel like they're a great travel pie. They're really hard.
They're great breakfast food, as with all pies.
One other thing I forgot to mention. A lot of times, if I have time, I take all my pecans and I put them on a baking sheet, and I put about a half a stick of butter on them, and I bake the pecans at 350 for about 5 minutes, six minutes. And then I use it, because you know how there's always this bitter flavor. I'd rather get rid of that ahead of time. So all the pecans that I use for anything have always been pre-baked.
Is that before or after you smash them with a mallet?
Before.
Okay, got it. So they're still whole when they have that sort of buttery experience in the oven.
Yeah, they're just a better buttery, yummier flavor. I wish you were always here when I bake. Can you just stay here all day long? We have so many pies.
I know. And it's so much fun to eat pie together. That's the best part of all.
I know.
Right.
Well.
All right. Well,
I love you.
I know. And here's a message for everybody. We hope that you have a happy Thanksgiving. We hope that you have a safe Thanksgiving and a pie-filled Thanksgiving. And of all the things I'm grateful for, and there are billions, one of the things I'm most grateful for is Quinn. So thank you, Quinn.
I was going to say that.
I love you. Come on. All right.
I love my sister so much. She makes me cry.
All right. All right.
Goodbye,
everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy pie baking. Make pie, not war. Bye.
Bye.